I'm here with one of my favorite dudes in the industry, Marc Junod, international sales director of Blancpain, and a really cool guy. So, Marc, how are you, first of all?
Fantastically well. It's a pleasure seeing you on the screen, but hopefully within a few months we'll be able to sit together and to meet again live.
Yeah, that's such a nice thing to say, and I have to say, if any one brand in the watch industry, when I think about friendship, when I think about conviviality, when I think about really the enjoyment of life in a nice way, I think about Blancpain. And you guys are such nice people, and I always think about also this amazing booth you had in the now no longer in existence Basel Fair.
We had wonderful meals there, and we shared some great moments. Always, it's a fantastic environment, and it's very important part of Blancpain. And I think it's the reason why all of the management has been here for, I don't know, I've been with Blancpain since 1993, 94, and a lot of the people, stick around for a long time. It's an emotional thing. I think it's a fantastic brand.
That's awesome, dude. And so let's talk a little bit about the Villeret collection. I know we're here to talk about a couple of novelties for this year, but let's talk about the collection in general first. One of the things I really respect about the Villeret collection is one of my favorite periods in watchmaking was that period where all the brands were trying their best to fight the quartz crisis, right? And I think that, Blancpain was one of the ones who really were pushing this message about mechanical watchmaking, the beauty of mechanical watchmaking, the beauty of mechanical watchmaking design as well. And I remember from 83 to 91, you guys created this incredible array of beautiful watches, beginning with the Caliber 6395, which was the world's smallest complete calendar with moon phase.
There you go. Exactly. You're right there on the screen. It's a classic, definitely a big statement. Early, I think it's 1983, if I'm not mistaken. Cool signature, and definitely, click for the industry. A lot of people, a lot of the main leading brands were making quartz watches, buying quartz movements, and then we definitely, we went for the making mechanical, the heritage of the Vallée de Joux, and it's a fantastic first chapter with the rebirth of Blancpain in the early 80s.
And it's such a beautiful watch. I mean, it also, sets so many of the sort of codes for this wonderful collection as well. First of all, is this incredible bezel that's unmistakable and is so unique to Blancpain, to the Villeret collection. Then, of course, there's this wonderful opaline dial. And then, of course, there's that wonderful moon face, which makes you smile, and the incredible applied Roman numerals, which are so much a wonderful part of your language. So, to me, it's such a stunning watch.
It's so Blancpain. It's interesting because we're going to look at new models, the novelties of 2020, and you see the evolution, but it is very much respectful to this piece, to this original design of the early 80s. There's been slight evolution throughout the last 40 years nearly. Yeah, absolutely. It is very much a Blancpain.
There's some images of the evolution to show how there's been a great deal of sensitivity that's paid to moving the dial forward in terms of design, some touches related to the hands, some touches related to the Roman numerals as well. And I think that's really cool. So maybe we can pull up that image, and Marc, you can talk a little bit about that, because I'm sure you guys feel a great weight of responsibility when how you have an icon like this.
Yes, absolutely. There we go. Okay, yes, but this is the latest evolution. You can see that the reference 6223 on your left there is a piece that came out in 2004. You can see it is much more discreet. The hands the leaf hands are full. You can see the Roman number are smaller, much more on the outside of the dial, and the evolution of this piece in 16 years. You can see the crown has been revisited. I would say you have bell button, Roman numbers. The leads have been sliced, open, and it is again very much the same watch, even though it's slighter, rejuvenated, and I think it's a fantastic design, a nice evolution of the product. It's let's not forget the way that Blancpain for Blancpain, we do 40% of the business with the Villeret collection, 30% with the ladies business, and then about 30% also, 30% in a diving 50 fathom and bathyscaphe. So the Villeret is very much a very important part of family of watches for Blancpain. We're always very, very careful to keep on moving and to bring it forward, along the way.
One of the details that I love, which I'm only just realizing now, is the skeletonization of the hands.
Yeah.
It's wonderful because it creates this, at first, when you look at the watch, you almost think it's a light effect, but then you realize actually, it has actually been applied in such a delicate way.
It's younger, lighter. I think it's the little details like this that makes a big big difference. Big difference.
And you know, the Roman numerals, as you were saying, they have been stylized slightly in a way that makes them feel, you know, they're applied indexes, but they almost feel as if they're handwritten, you know, and there's this wonderful human touch to them as well, which I really like.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so when we think about, like, you know, the Villeret, we think about something that is essential, that's sort of almost zen and harmonious. And I guess there's no better example of that than the Villeret Ultra Plat. So maybe, Marc, you can tell us a little bit about the Ultra Plat versions that are being launched this year and why you love this movement in particular, which is, I think, is only a movement thickness of 3.25 mm with a case thickness.
The Ultra Thin that actually came out last year, the 6605 came out last year. We actually revisited the movement. Absolutely, it's this piece here. Okay, the automatic. Yes, this is the 1151. This is a movement that has been the workhorse, you know, of Blancpain for the last many years. It's a 2-barrel, 100-hour power reserve, and very reliable. All updated with silicium escapement, fork, and and hairspring. It's a very reliable movement that we have actually even made available to other brands throughout the years. It's very much a very strong and very respected mechanism. 100-hour power reserve is a good thing today.
Absolutely, and you've also got a couple of versions with diamond set bezels as well.
Yes,
now,
absolutely.
Tell me, are these intended to be sort of watches that are worn by both men and women? Are there certain cultures that kind of dig a little bit of a diamonds on their bezel?
Absolutely. No, we've, ladies' watches, diamond bezel. It's a 38mm diamond bezel. It's kind of a unisex piece. Certain part of the world, men wear diamond bezel, as you well know, and the setting is extremely well done. It's a new type of setting where it has to be polished onto the diamond, so it has a great clarity, like great fire. I think the setting of the diamonds on the dial are very discreet and very well balanced, in proportion to the bezel. And I think it's a very nice watch. We are just developing different color straps, and we're going to have the same approach as we have with the ladies version, the 6104, the smaller piece, which is 29mm, until 38, where the piece is available with 4 different straps, color straps in the box, and we're going to have the same approach to promote this new line of diamond pieces.
And I just wanted to point out that, what's very interesting between the diamond set versions and the non-diamond set versions is the bezel, right? But the bezel, which is this iconic bezel that it was created in '83 when you launched that first complete calendar watch, has a double step to it. And when you see that on the sort of non-set version, it is so, to me, it's just so like iconically masculine somehow. And then somehow when you put it on the diamond bezel, it suddenly becomes a very different watch. Now this is really cool too. Yeah. I believe it was last year during the very aptly named Time to Move event, which there was a lot of movement in, that you launched the Beads of Rice bracelet. And I have to say, these are magnificent. Just the bracelet itself is a work of art. First of all, how cool is it that it's integrated? Because yes, like the vintage watches had like a straight sort of end piece that went between the lugs. The bracelets are incredible. It's just a wonderful addition to this watch. Tell us a little bit about this.
Well, I mean, this bracelet is extremely comfortable. As you well know, Wade, that it's difficult to match a link of a bracelet with a bezel of a watch. It often looks added, and here it's very fluid. And I think that, first of all, it's a fantastic bracelet in our way sometimes, fantastic, comfortable bracelet to wear on your wrist. And on top of it, the proportion, it's a perfect fit with the proportion of the dial and everything. So it is actually very well received. Usually we sell a lot more pieces in the ladies' gold diamond pieces with a gold bracelet are selling extremely well. It's been very
nice.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's true that when you go from a double-edged bezel to a diamond bezel, you recognize Blancpain. You definitely have the DNA of Blancpain, but it is a feminine piece, and I think it's well recognized.
That's a great watch, man. And I love, again, I remember when there was a bunch of journalists that went up to the manufacturer in the Brasseau, and we were all putting this bracelet on, and we were just blown away by how comfortable it was, and how delicate it was, and how beautifully sort of finished it is as well. So, bravo, man. Cool.
Very, very comfortable. Very comfortable.
Hey, just a question for you, Marc. Is this bracelet interchangeable with all the 38mm watches? Meaning that, like, for example, if I bought a complete calendar, I could put the bracelet on it?
It is available for all references we have from 29mm to about 42mm. So the bracelet comes in 3 different sizes, width, and the first link can be actually modified to the right thickness of the watch. You know, depending on the complication, the first link has to be of a different thickness. So yes, available for about 95% of all the references. Absolutely.
That's amazing. Because, you know, again, guys, one of the things that we have really seen is that this whole the beads of rice bracelet is something that's really coming back in a huge way, right? A lot of us are having to go and find aftermarket ones for our watches because a lot of brands are not making them. So the fact that you've made one and it fits all the night or the majority of Blancpains, it's great. And if any of you guys have, you know, a cool Villeret watch, go down to the Blancpain boutique and just try it on with that beads of rice bracelet, because that thing is amazing, right? Okay, so let's go from there to, I guess, what I consider to be the icon of the brand, which is the Villeret complete calendar, right? Which is very similar to that watch that we just saw from 1983, now in 38mm, and what a killer watch. So maybe we can just pull that up, and Marc, you can tell us a little bit about this piece too, which I feel that's the one to have, man. Now that on a beads of rice would be sick.
Some other brands are known for different complication. I would say that definitely Blancpain, the moon phase is our signature, and we must sell a good percentage of all those watches sold in the industry. Very classical. You can see there's an evolution. It's much lighter. If you compare this watch to the one we looked at a few minutes ago that had a big black frame around the day and the month, there's a slight evolution, but you very much still recognize the brand, and I think we remain so true to our DNA and to the roots of the brand, and I think it's fantastic. I think it's exactly very well done. Basically, it is the proportion on the dial that we had on the 40mm that we installed in 2010. In the 40mm, and yeah, I must say one thing is, you know, in 2010, where we came out with this 40mm, and we thought that ultimately it will cannibalize a little bit the 38mm. It would maybe even go away, you know. And this watch has refused to, that size 38mm has refused to go away, and that's the reason why a couple of years ago we decided to say, you know what, we need to, you know, it doesn't go away. We need to just update it, the aesthetic of it a little bit, and it has been extremely well received. We are in the midst of conducting a time to moves event around the world. Yes, the last 2 days we had it in Shanghai, and the product has been extremely well received. I mean, it's the perfect product. It's not a revolution, it's an evolution. A good evolution that makes sense, that is true to the brand. And that is in a year that we're facing right now. I think it's just plenty of newness and evolution to really be a good product, easy to produce, and to be able to help the year.
That's awesome. And here we have it on the diamond bezel as well, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Stunning watch. So, Marc, one thing I want to ask you a little bit about also is that, you know, there is, it's a very beautiful watch, and it's very classic on the front of the watch. But what I love about Blancpain, I think that this is, you know, in general true for the group, but in particular in Blancpain, is that there is so much innovation going on at the movement level, right? And in particular, I would say incorporating the use of silicone as the balance spring, and also for the escapement as well. Tell me a little bit about that, because, you know, one of the things that people never talk about is that I think 90%, something like 90% of the time when people go to get their watch service is because it's magnetized, right? So
it might be what, fast, you said?
They're magnetized, exactly. So the fact that
this is, you know, through my years in this industry, it was maybe the biggest scar I wear. You know, I have is the magnetization I used in the past to even give free boxes, you know, to demagnetize the watches to clients, you know, to resolve the issue. And all of this is gone. It was really the only technical issue that Blancpain faced. I mean, the beauty of this watch is, first of all, something we haven't mentioned is that the whole new 38mm being revisited now is available with an open sapphire back and a beautiful honeycomb gold rotor. So it was the last 38mm, whereas the last from 2004, the last piece that had a closed back. So now all of the Villeret pieces today are available with an open back and a 18 karat gold roller. So, and then the evolution, yes, it's a, you know, it's the silicium escapement. I mean, it's definitely has been, you know, the answer to the last technical problem that the mechanical watches faced. And as I was saying earlier, we didn't really discuss much of it. You know, we moved on and modified all the mechanism. You know, we are the true manufacturer doing everything from A to Z. So it was a, you know, we were able to, you know, face the situation and move forward and then bring that latest technology in all the mechanical movement we make.
That's awesome. Hey, Simon, since we're here, if you don't mind, can you pull up the gold version, the rose gold version on the strap? I just want to look at it because I think it's cool. What Marc is referring to is that, you know, so there's in particular a couple of parts of the watch, the hairspring and the escapement. If those parts are made in metal and you pass them over something that has a magnetic field, like your phone a lot of times, wow, that's beautiful. That's just awesome, man. That is just a killer watch. So if you pass that over something that's got a magnetic field, like your iPad or your phone or like a speaker, actually one of the ones that is pretty really bad, I didn't even realize it until recently, is the induction hobs on when you're cooking as well, because they're using a magnetic field.
The magnet becomes like a wallet of a purse for a woman, and if you come home and you take out your watch and put it on your phone, all of this is sufficient to really disturb the accuracy of the watch. Absolutely.
Exactly. And there's like the majority of the cases when people go to get the service because of their watch, it's because of that. And so the fact that almost, you know, across the board, the group, but in particular Blancpain has made an effort to incorporate these silicone hairsprings and escapements. That's awesome, right? And because people, you know, it just brings another level of practicality. And Marc, I know you wanted to talk a little bit about something as well, because I know the price of gold has rose quite significantly. Yet at the same time, Blancpain has made a real effort to keep the price of their watches as accessible as possible. Tell me a bit about that, man.
Well, I mean, I think it's important. It's important thing that you have to, you know, to market the product. You have to choose your competition. You have to choose with which other brands you're going to end up on a tray at the point of sale. And maybe one thing, I think Blancpain, the prices are very, very good. I think Blancpain, even the prices could actually be, when you look at the quality of the mechanism, the prices could be raised a little bit, but I think the benefit of its selling, you know, ability. It's a, you know, it's a marketing tool, and ultimately maybe it will not be the perfect year to do such a thing, to raise the price. Huh? But the prices are always very good. And Senior already back then had always had this intelligent approach of, you know, setting the brand well, you know, within the industry.
That's awesome, man. And I know you previously mentioned, so there's those watches that we were looking at previously with the 38mm, but there's also a 40mm. And the 40mm version of this watch comes in a really cool sunburst blue with rose gold case, both for the ultra flat and also for the complete calendar. So maybe we can pull up either one of those, Summit, and take a look at it, because it really kind of changes the whole identity of the watch with this colorway.
You know, we're very well known for the opaline die. It's the signature of the brand for the last 40 years, the opaline die. And we have throughout the years come out with gray, color gray, black dials. But the blue dial is definitely the one that brought us the most success, always extremely well received. And we decided this year to just come out with that 40mm watch with a blue dial, with the basic automatic and moon phase. Extremely well received, and I'm sure we will do very well with it. Again, outside of the opaline dial, the blue color is definitely the biggest success we have.
That is awesome, man. That's so cool. I would totally wear that. I love it. Beads and rice, and yeah, it's great. You know, and it's wonderful also because it's, you know, it's not a significant departure in any way from the iconography of that Villeret complete calendar with moon phase, but just the changing up of the color, the addition of that bracelet. It's a completely different watch, man.
It's a different watch, and yet it very much remains a Blancpain. And we, you know, when you do deal in classic watches like this, you got to be careful. So yes, I think it's successful. Yes, it's beautiful.
I love it. I love it. And then, oh yeah, here we go. This is the ultra flat version, also, which looks super cool as well. And again, that bracelet is crushing it, man.
Absolutely.
Really lovely. Well, Marc, hey, thank you so much for joining us. I have to say, I really dig the watches. And maybe one last question is you mentioned that you guys are planning some time to move type activities over the course of the year. What can we look forward to, man?
As far as events, well, I know you're going to have a time with Marc, with Marc Hayek, and I gave him the opportunity to express, all of the projects we have for the remaining of the year. But right now, as far as selling and representing the novelties, we have special events like this in different countries. With Carnets traveling the world and doing it a little bit of a different way, but we're still able to reach our good partners around the world, able to get the orders in, and then be able to communicate all the novelties of the year. So I think that's a very good thing.
Awesome, man. And we can't see it. Indeed, listen, these watches have been awesome, but I can't wait to see what you have over the rest of the year. You guys smashed it last year with the Air Commander and the Barracuda. So very interested to see.
We've got a couple of other pieces of our sleeves.
Awesome.
Marc, okay.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, my man. Great to see you.
It's a pleasure putting the time on the screen with you. All right. Be well. See you soon. All right. Bye. Ciao.